Hey guys, it's Libby, and today I'm doing a voiceover video so that I can show you how I make full cast audiobooks, which is a thing that I do with the online stage, because even though it's not about books in particular, you guys are all readers, and I expect many of you listen to audiobooks, so I thought you might be interested in how it gets made. So the first thing that you have to do is get a script. At the online stage, we do two different types of productions. Plays, which were written as plays, where you already have a script, so that's easy. But sometimes we do full cast or dramatic readings of novels, which means you have to take the block of text and divide it into a script. So what I'm doing here is I'm going through the first chapter of The Younger Sister, which is a completion of Jane Austen's uncompleted novel, The Watsons, and I'm going through looking for all of the dialogue so that I can tag it with which character reads that dialogue. And this is different than a radio play because in a full cast audiobook, you say all of the words that were written down, whereas in a radio play you can adapt the script. So if there's a paragraph about how there's a thunderstorm, you might just cut that and instead have the sound of a thunderstorm playing. Then as I make the script, I go through and I create a giant spreadsheet listing which characters are in which chapters, and then I go through and cast it. So then step number 3 after script making and casting is recording. So I am here recording, I think these are my lines for Sarah Moreland in Northanger Abbey, which should be coming out before too long, so look forward to that. What I do is I get the script out for all of the chapters that Sarah is in, which I think is only 2. I go through and find her lines, and then record them. I record in Audacity, and I'm using a Perception AKG microphone, which is also what I'm using to record this, although I am in a different room, so the acoustics are probably different, and there's probably more background noise. Sorry about that. And then the next step is proof listening, or PLing. This is where I go through and check the other people's lines to make sure that there aren't like funny background noises and that they didn't miss any lines, that sort of thing. So I import all of their files into Audacity. I find the lines for whichever character they are reading, and then I just listen to the recording. And then finally, I edit the individual chapters together. So sometimes full cast audiobooks are recorded with all of the cast in a room at the same time, and they read their lines as though they were doing a live radio play. But that's not what we do. We have people all over the world and in different time zones, so we all record our files separately, and then what I do is I edit them all together. So what I'm doing here is this is chapter 9 of Sense and Sensibility. So, also my cat sometimes wants attention, so I have to pet her. I've imported the narrator's file into this Audacity project, and then I go through the script and I tag all of the places where there is dialogue. There are a lot of different ways to edit audio files like this together. I have found that this, although it takes a little bit more work up front, because you have to tag all the dialogue, it means you're much less likely to make a mistake, and if you do make a mistake later on, it's a lot easier to figure out where that mistake happened, because when you're just looking at the waveforms, you can't tell what's being said, and so it's harder to see if something got like put out of order. Then I import the lines of all the characters that are in that scene. I do a quick check to make sure that the volume of that recording is the same, or at least close enough to the volume of the narrators. And then I go through and insert all of the lines one by one into the main file. And what I do on this pass through is I just sort of haphazardly throw the lines in sort of mindlessly. And then what I do afterwards, when I have all of the different characters' lines in a recording, I go through and I listen to it, especially to the dialogue sections, to sort of recreate natural speech flow. So it's actually a lot harder than you think it would be, because like we're all humans and we all know how humans talk, unless I have any robot viewers out there. Hey, robot viewers. But for the most part, we all know how humans talk. So you wouldn't think it would be that hard to like make the right length of time between like different parts of a conversation, but it actually takes a lot of practice. So I just go through and sometimes I'll cut a little bit, or sometimes I'll add a little bit, just to make sure that it is a natural flowing conversation. So that's all the stuff that I do. If you want to check out my work, I have some stuff that's available on Audible, and I also have some stuff for free on the Online Stages website. I will leave links to all of that in the description. See you later, guys.